Now you know what that was all about. Centering us, preparing us for today's message. And today's message is presented by our own Victoria, Reverend Victoria Bomberry.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Such a joy to see you this morning. And, I think that there were some sleepy people this morning because I was the first one here and I'm usually not. Just about the first one. White Feather was here before me. And, it was wonderful when Mary Beth was in the back. She came running to the front and she swung me around in a big circle. And it was so great because it was like, yeah, I need that energy. I'm a little bit sleepy. It's fall, right? It's fall. And, just that energy that we are kind of setting aside right now to go into that inner space, we can pick it up anytime, right? We really can. And it takes sometimes a Mary Beth to come and swing us around in a big circle. Or sometimes we can do that for ourselves. And, I was just thinking about, as White Feather was playing, I was just lost in this feeling of what I've seen around my place. There's a lot of trees, and I've seen the first leaves fall. Not many, but there's a few that have come down. And, I just imagine, I can see them just kind of floating down to the earth. And, there's something so calm and peaceful in that, that resting phase that the tree goes through. The dropping of one leaf doesn't kill the tree, right? It's just that time of entering dormancy and that going inwardly. And then, I was imagining those leaves just swirling around in a fall breeze and, how they just kind of swirl and kind of dance around. And it's such a wonderful time of year. It really is. And it always reminds us of all the energy that we may not outwardly see, but it is there. It's there in the wind. It's there in the falling of the leaf. It's there in us. It's always there. And I was looking at holidays, right? And there's always a new holiday, some kind of day that is created. And I found a holiday that I had never heard of, and it's called Energize. I-N-N-E-R, Gize, G-I-Z-E. Energize. And it is celebrated the first full day after the equinox. And the equinox was at 11:50 on the 22nd. So yesterday we had PM. So yesterday we had a full day. So today is the day of Energize. Energize Day. And some of the things that are recommended are take a long bath, read a book, go for a walk, focus on a hobby, listen to your favorite music, tune out digital. When you think about going inward, what do you think about? What is something that you might think about?
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind? Wonderful.
Renewing, resting.
Resting, yes. Take a nap. Or get a good night's sleep, right? What else?
Meditation.
Yes. Meditation. Prayer. All of those things that bring us back to center. And, maybe cuddle with your favorite companion animal. All mine are, I only have one now, but that's my favorite companion animal right now. And her name is Gracie, and she's a cat. And she loves to cuddle with me. And I wake up every morning with her either at my feet or right here. So those are all ways that we go inward. We go inward, and we just have those moments that are just feeding our body and our spirits, right? That's what we do. And I was thinking about it when I was putting this together, and I thought, well, that sounds a lot like Sunday celebration here at CSLMV, right? That's what we do here. And this morning I saw so many people hugging one another and greeting one another in various ways, fist bumping, embracing. I don't know if I've seen anybody do the foot kick, but all those things, right? We greet one another and we love one another. And we have that opportunity every week for us to energize. It's not just one day a year. It's one day a week that we can come together and energize. But we can do that every day for ourselves too. A few years back when I was thinking about how can I become the healthiest person I can become, both spiritually and mentally and in my body, one of the biggest things was to be in community. That was a big thing. Be in community. Make sure that you have that community around you so that we support one another, we love one another, and we do all those things that I mentioned this morning. We dance together. Oh my gosh, that choreography back there was awesome. I was thinking they've got to come up on the stage next time and get that going for us. So it was awesome. That's what we do together. We just create this feeding of our spirits in such a powerful way. And this month's focus has been Love Out Loud. And today's talk title is Love Wins. And I want us to just underscore that love out loud because we do it in all kinds of ways. And I talked about how a lot of people never say they love you, right? And how much it means when it's finally vocalized. So I thought this morning, let's just vocalize our love for one another. So turn to your neighbor or someone around you and just say, I love you.
I love you.
And I love all of you. And how does that feel, right? Wonderful. Yeah, that just energizes us, doesn't it? And I see everybody smiling, everybody laughing. Wow, what a big change, just like that, right? We can make a big change in the world just by that. So we've talked about a lot of things this month around love. And today we're talking about love wins. So sometimes when, I'll be talking about love and saying love wins. And generally there's a couple of responses. And one of those responses is, come on now, Reverend Victoria, what do you mean love wins? What do you mean? They're really skeptical and they have just a, sour look on their face most of the time. What do you mean love wins? Look at all the hunger in the world. There's all these wars and racism, homophobia, fascism, and the list goes on and on and on. I mean, we could make a list so long that, we'd be here all day and tomorrow too. But what does that mean, That's an extreme, right? That's an extreme. And then on the other side of that are the people who ignore everything that's going on in the world and in their bodies and their lives, right? So that they can create a sense of happiness, cut off from everything around them. And that is, that's kind of an ultimate denial, right? Not only of our circumstances, where we live, everything, our bodies, our minds, all of that, our feelings. And it's also an extreme. So what do we mean, actually, when we're talking about love wins? We look, Mary Beth brought up the yin-yang symbol. And I think that's such a powerful symbol for us to think about in terms of, life forces and just life in general, because it is dynamic. The yin-yang sign is dynamism. And that's what life is. We have all kinds of things that are going on. You know, sure, you know, people have things that go on in their life, individually and collectively we have things that go on in our life. And it changes all the time. And it's just what life is. And I think, you know, the strategy that's worked best for me is to look life straight on. Okay, what's happening? What's happening to me? What's happening to my community? What's happening around me? I have to look at it straight on and respond to it. You know, it doesn't do any good if I just stick my head in the sand and not pay attention to what's going on. And believe me, I've done that. One time I got deathly ill in a foreign country. And I was really sick and I thought, there's really something bad wrong with me. And then I got some relief. I went to an acupuncturist who got rid of the pain with acupuncture. So I thought, okay, I'm just fine, right? So I just started walking all through a high altitude city, up and down these hills. And I must have walked, you know, 3 or 4 miles. And in the meantime, I had to stop and get a test, so then I walked 3 or 4 miles back to the house. And the doctor called and said, get her to the hospital immediately. And, you know, it was like, I stopped paying attention. I just said, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. And I just did whatever, you know, I wanted to do. And, you know, I kind of put my life in jeopardy by doing that, by not paying attention. And I think we all have examples of things that we've done like that, right? Or we can say, oh, there's something going on with hungry children. And then we can just ignore it, right? Oh, well, someone else is taking care of that. And we can just turn away from it. And yet, we could do something very simple, maybe. You know, support the school lunch programs, you know, do whatever. But, you know, there's something that we can respond to in every aspect of our life. We don't have to ignore it. This is what life is all about. And it's a demonstration of how love wins. When we pay attention, when we add a little love, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. That's how love wins. Love wins in that way. And, you know, our teachings at CSL, we're all about practical living. You know, I think sometimes it sounds like we're kind of up there in the stratosphere when we talk about oneness and, you know, these kind of high ideals. But all of these things are practical ways for us to live. And love certainly is one of the most practical ways that we can live. And we apply love because it helps us move through whatever those circumstances we find ourselves in. We don't dwell on the circumstances like the people who are making a long list of all the ills, nor do we deny them, right? We have to say, yes, these are the circumstances, and how are we going to respond? And we respond by letting love light the way out of the abyss of darkness into a new day. That's what we do. That's what we do. And one thing that I do know from these teachings is that love is the grandest healing power on earth. It truly is. You know, I can't think of anything more powerful than love. Love drives away hate, right? It's more powerful than hate. It's more powerful than anything. It's more powerful than anything. I can't think of one thing that trumps love. And I see demonstrations every day of love in tiny acts of kindness. They don't have to be big, right? tiny acts of kindness make a huge difference. And it's amazing to see it in action. You know, you can see it in action when you see, when you're kind to a child. And that's immediate, right? That's immediate gratification because a child will just light up. And even if they're in a really bad mood, they want to, you know, kind of just sulk off or whatever, there's always something that has shifted in them, right? Something has shifted. And it makes a huge change down the road, whatever that kindness was. And there's something about love that is not out there in the ethers. It's a natural element, as palpable as our breath. It is. It is that. And Ernest Holmes writes, if we look at love long enough, we shall become lovely. For this is the way of love. God is love. If we gaze longingly at joy, it will make its home with us, and we shall enter its portals and be happy. And that's from the Science of Mind textbook, page 491. Love is, so it exists, right? It is. And when we become fully conscious of its presence, we can choose love in any circumstance. Doesn't matter what the circumstance is. We can choose love. When we, you know, I'm thinking about the times that I've become really bent out of shape. I mean, enraged by something that someone has done. And, you know, my first impulse might be to strike back. Right? To strike back in some way. Not generally physically, but, you know, I know that I have felt like that sometimes. But when you see that coming up in yourself, or when I do, I can choose love. I really can choose love. I can take that breath. Take that breath that reminds me that love is in every breath I take. And I can choose love. And I can respond with love. And it may be that my capacity in that very moment for love may only be not to strike back. But that's the first step. It's incremental. And as we practice it, it becomes easier and easier. It becomes easy. It becomes our way of life. It's how we relate to one another. It's how we live with one another. It's how we are in community with one another. There's a wonderful program on public radio called The Moth. Has anyone heard it? It is a great program, and people just get on and they tell stories from their lives. And they're short, you know, maybe 5 minutes or so. And they're just so inspirational and wonderful. And I was listening to Om Choudhury tell the story of the loss of his father. And he was brought up in a small community in India. And one day he was at school, and his grandmother came to pick him up. His grandmother never came to pick him up. And he knew something was up because she showed up at his school. And she took him home, and he saw his little brother sitting in a little chair alone, and he was just crying and so sad. And he had learned that his father had died. That's why his father didn't pick him up. And in that moment, you know, he felt that loss too. But he looked at his brother, and his heart just went out to his little brother, this little boy, you know, 4 or 5 years old, who was sitting all alone and just sobbing. And all he could think of is, what can I do? And he left the house, and he went to the stationery store, and he bought 2 red pieces of paper, And he made some hats, and he bought another piece of red paper that he made some round clown noses out of. So he made a party hats for both of them, and these little round clown noses. And he knew that his little brother loved to eat ice cream that was sold by these people who dressed up like clowns and sold ice cream on the street. So he went and he put a nose on him and put a hat on him, and he took his little brother out to get ice cream. And of course that was an act of kindness. It was compassion, out picturing right there. And it was something that stayed with this little boy. And at the time of this telling of this story, old Chudhuri had just lost 3 people in his life who were very close to him, and he was devastated. And one thing that I thought was interesting is he didn't dwell on the loss. Yes, he was sad, but he recognized that we all go through this. All of us go through this. So it wasn't like, it was something transformed in it. So he got a call from his brother, and his brother said, "Pick me up at the airport." And he was shocked because his brother lives in India and he lives in Chicago. His brother had flown from Chicago. When he got off the plane, he had 2 red hats and 2 noses. And they went out for ice cream. So what an amazing show of love. And Chudhuri said, yes, we had all of these things that, difficult times in our lives. But I am a PhD. I have a PhD in, I think it was molecular biology, some very specialized field of biology. And his brother is a very, very successful business person. So they went through these terrible hardships. But what he said he learned from this, his brother showing up, is that there's always love at the center of that relationship. And they always have one another's back, no matter what. That's the power of love. And we can do that for one another. And we know that God always does that for us. God is always there with the red hats and the clown noses, just waiting for us. We can always turn within and access that. And so it is.
And so it is.
Well, let's turn within. And last week I said that I would put up the Zoom link for the Meta, but somehow it didn't stick on the Facebook page due to technical difficulties. So I thought we could just take this time right now to do the Meta. And let's just close our eyes and get comfortable right where we are, turning within. And as I told you, we start with ourselves. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from inner and outer danger. May I be well in mind and body. May I be at ease and happy. And then when we go to the next phase of this, we can extend love to someone close to us. So just get a clear picture in your mind of someone very close to you. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be free from inner and outer danger. May you be well in mind and body. May you be at ease and happy. And we'll take a deep breath. In the next phase of this, we go a little bit further afield, and it can be people that we see on a daily basis, but we don't know them very well. Could be the clerk and the cashier at the grocery store, or maybe someone that you meet on the street. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be free from inner and outer danger. May you be well in mind and body. May you be at ease and happy. Then we'll take a breath. And this is for all those we are yet to love. People we might have difficulties with, maybe we've forgotten we've loved them. We love them because we have a conflict with them. And this is when we open our hearts even wider. So get an image in your mind of someone. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be free from inner and outer danger. May you be well in mind and body. May you be at ease and happy. And let's just breathe now and enter into our spiritual mind treatment. Knowing that God is all there is. God is love. God is love. And love is. And I'm so grateful to know this and recognize this in this very moment. In this moment that is the eternal now of love. And I know that this is true for me, and I know that it's true for each and every person, that this depth of knowledge is present. And I am one with it. And I'm speaking my word for each and every person here this morning, knowing that we are a community of love. We have those wide open hearts to receive everyone, recognizing everyone as that pure emanation of God. All the differences only make these relationships sweeter. All of our quirks, all of our strengths, all of our weaknesses just make that love stronger, because we know that we are here to perfect loving. That's our task here, to learn to love to the best of our ability. And I'm so grateful for this center. I'm grateful for everyone who is a part of this place, this community, this beautiful, beautiful teaching that is the wisdom of the world. There's many, many centers that this wisdom draws from, and it is all God. It is all love. I allow this good to be, knowing it is already done in the mind of God. And so it is.